The Nightly Business Report.
Good evening. Tonight, Sri Lanka inflation rises in August driven by base effects and higher coal prices. President declares power supply an essential service to curb union action amid restructuring push. ASPI and S&P SL20 rise on investor optimism and continued economic recovery momentum. And Wall Street hits fresh record high as tech stocks rally, boosting investor confidence across major indexes.
From Studio 24C, here's Jenna Newman.
Good evening and welcome to the Nightly Business Report. Inflation in Sri Lanka rose to 1.5% in August, driven largely by base effects from last year's low prices. Core inflation also increased, signaling rising underlying price pressures as the central bank prepares for its upcoming interest rate decision.
Sri Lanka's consumer prices, measured by the National Consumer Price Index, rose 1.5% in August compared to a year earlier, up from 0.7% in July. This increase is mainly due to base effects from lower prices during the same period last year. Food prices increased 2.9% over the last 12 months, despite some everyday items like vegetables and fish seeing price drops. Non-food inflation edged up modestly, while core inflation, which excludes volatile items, rose to 1.5% in August from 0.9% in July, indicating strengthening underlying price pressures. Despite the rise, inflation remains below the central bank's 5% target, with policymakers expecting target levels by mid-2026 amid gradually recovering demand.
Foreign direct investment inflows to Sri Lanka reached $783 million as of mid-September, with expectations to surpass $1 billion by the end of this year, according to the BOI chairman Arjuna Herat. Unlike 2022, when construction and telecom dominated, this year's FDI is more diversified, including investment in ports, solid tire manufacturing and hospitality. The BOI approved 134 projects valued at $1.3 billion in the past 12 months. Investor confidence is improving as Sri Lanka recovers from the 2022 economic crisis. Herat also addressed a stalled $3.5 billion Sinopec refinery project, citing ongoing negotiations over market access. Both parties remain committed to reaching an agreement soon, though no definitive timeline has been given. President Kumara Dissanayake has declared all electricity-related services as essential, blocking CEB unions from striking. This move aims to prevent disruptions amid escalating union protests against the government's planned utility restructuring.
President Kumara Dissanayake has issued a gazette declaring all electricity-related services as essential services under the Essential Public Services Act. This decision comes as Ceylon Electricity Board unions plan to escalate trade union actions against the government's utility restructuring proposal. Last week, the unions conducted a work-to-rule campaign and protests, with further disruptions threatened. By declaring electricity services essential, workers are prohibited from striking, refusing duties, or disrupting services, with violations subject to disciplinary action, dismissal, fines, or imprisonment. The CEB has been designated an essential service multiple times in the past to prevent power supply interruptions during union protests.
The government has gazetted the 2026 appropriation bill, settling total expenditure at 4.54 trillion rupees, with borrowing capped at 3.8 trillion rupees. This is a reduction from the 2025 budget estimate of 4 trillion rupees in borrowings and 4.2 trillion rupees in total expenditure. Major allocations include 634.8 billion rupees for the Finance and Planning and Economic Ministry, 555 billion rupees for health and mass media, and 455 billion rupees for defense, and 301 billion rupees for education and vocational training. The President's office is allocated 11.4 billion rupees, while the Prime Minister's office is set to receive 1 billion rupees. Debt servicing for 2025 was estimated at 4.5 trillion rupees, with revenues projected at 5 trillion rupees. The official 2026 budget presentation will take place on the 7th of November, when Finance Minister and President Kumara Dissanayake delivers the budget speech in the Parliament. Let's take a short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. The Colombo Stock Exchange closed higher with both main indices posting gains. Investor sentiment remained positive amid continued market activity and economic recovery hopes. For further insights on this, we have Dilhari Dias from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Jenna. Moving further up from yesterday's buying sentiment, the Colombo Stock Exchange stood at the green territory by the end of the session today. The All-Share Price Index posted a gain of around 56 points and closed at 21,283. Haley's PLC, LOLC Holdings PLC, Brown's Investment PLC, Diesel and Motor Engineering PLC, and Ceylon Coal Stores PLC were the leading positive contributors to the index. Both retail and high net worth participation was moderate compared to yesterday, while more positive investor sentiment was predominantly seen towards certain diversified financial sector counters. The turnover stood at 6.6 billion rupees, reflecting around 7% decrease over the monthly average of around 7 billion rupees. In terms of sector-wise contribution to the turnover, diversified financial sector took the lead with a share of 22%, while banking sector and capital goods sector followed behind with a combined contribution of 37%. The top three gainers were SMB Finance PLC, Diesel and Motor Engineering PLC, and Agsta PLC, whilst the top three losers were Industrial Asphalt Ceylon PLC, Sierra Cables PLC, and UB Finance PLC. Thank you.
Sri Lanka has received an upgrade in its foreign currency rating, reflecting improving economic conditions and investor confidence. This move signals greater stability and progress in the country's recovery efforts. For further insights on this, we have Akna Tennekon from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Jenna. On September 19th, S&P Global Ratings upgraded Sri Lanka's foreign currency credit ratings to CCC Plus from SD, which means the country is officially no longer in selective default. The local currency rating was also affirmed at CCC Plus and the outlook remains stable. This upgrade is a significant signal. It tells us that while Sri Lanka's financial situation is still vulnerable, it's no longer in immediate crisis. In other words, the country is starting to rebuild trust with international markets. The move comes after steady progress in key areas. Sri Lanka's economy has bounced back from the 2022 crisis, with sectors like tourism and exports showing strong recovery. The government has also made headway on debt restructuring, including offers on Sri Lankan Airlines bonds, and is sticking to reforms under the IMF program. That said, challenges remain. Sri Lanka's debt levels are still very high and interest payments continue to consume a large share of government revenue. To keep the recovery on a steady path, the government will need to stay committed to reform and manage its finances with discipline and care. Thank you.
Gold prices crept up to record highs in Asian trade today, buoyed chiefly by increased haven demand as recent comments from Federal Reserve officials sparked some caution over future interest rate cuts. Spot gold rose to a record high of 0.3% to $3,759.18 an ounce, while gold futures hit a peak of $3,794.82 an ounce. Metal prices had benefited from the Fed's rate cut last week, although the gains mostly lagged gains in gold. Spot platinum rose 0.3% to $1,421.05 an ounce, while spot silver rose 0.2% to $44.31 an ounce. Among industrial metals, benchmark copper futures on the London Metal Exchange fell 0.3% to $9,975.05 a ton, while COMEX copper futures fell 0.5% to $4,624.75 a pound. Oil prices declined for a fifth consecutive session today as a preliminary agreement reached between Iraq and Kurdish regional governments to restart an oil pipeline added to oversupply concerns. Brent crude futures fell 34 cents or 0.51% to $66.23 a barrel, while West U.S. Texas Intermediate crude down 29 cents or 0.47% at $61.99 a barrel. Over the last 5 sessions, Brent and WTI declined by 3% and 4% respectively. Overall, the global oil market is bracing for elevated supply and slowing demand, hampered by the fast development of electric vehicles and economic woes fueled by U.S. tariffs. In this latest monthly report, the International Energy Agency said world oil supply would rise more rapidly this year and a surplus could expand in 2026 as OPEC Plus members increase output and supply from outside the group grows. The Sri Lankan rupee has depreciated slightly against the US dollar at commercial banks in Sri Lanka today than compared to yesterday. However, the rupee has experienced marginal appreciation against several regional currencies, including the Indian rupee, euro and the British pound, reflecting a mixed performance in the foreign exchange market. This trend indicates a stabilization in the LKR's value, influenced by factors such as improved foreign inflows and cautious trading activities. Despite these fluctuations, the rupee's performance remains relatively stable against major currencies businesses engage in foreign transactions. Let's take a closer look on how the Sri Lankan rupee has performed against other major global currencies. Short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. NDB Bank has partnered with Ideal Motors to offer flexible and affordable leasing solutions for Mahindra vehicles across Sri Lanka. This strategic alliance aims to empower individuals, SMEs and micro businesses with easy access to reliable mobility and tailored financing options.
NDB Bank has entered into a strategic partnership with Ideal Motors, the official distributor of Mahindra vehicles in Sri Lanka, to provide affordable and accessible leasing solutions. The collaboration enables customers to lease Mahindra's latest passenger vehicle range, including the XUV 3XO, in multiple variants with minimal paperwork, no guarantee requirements and quick approvals. NDB's island-wide network of 113 branches and 12 leasing centers ensures broad access to these services. The partnership also extends to Mahindra's commercial vehicle range, including the Bolero City Pickup, Scorpio Double and Single Cabs, offering tailor-made solutions for SMEs and entrepreneurs. Significantly, this initiative introduces Sri Lanka's first-ever bank finance leasing option for Mahindra Alpha Plus load carriers, supporting micro and small businesses.
Blossomwell Holdings Limited has signed a $2.99 million agreement with the Board of Investment to establish a boutique hotel in Thisamarama near Yala National Park. Targeting upscale and mid-scale international and domestic travelers, the hotel will feature 72 elegantly designed rooms across 4 categories, offering high-end amenities and personalized 5-star service. Culinary tourism will be a key focus, with multi-cuisine dining, a living cooking kitchen, an authentic Chinese restaurant, and a poolside bar enhancing the guest experience. The hotel's recreational offerings include a jacuzzi-equipped pool, gym, spa, sauna, and wellness programs promoting mind-body balance and guest well-being. Blossomwell emphasizes sustainability, integrating great energy solutions such as solar power waste-to-energy systems and rainwater harvesting to move towards net zero carbon operations. DFCC Bank has relaunched its flagship digital corporate banking platform iConnect 2.0 to revolutionize how Sri Lankan business manage finances. The enhanced platform offers seamless trade payment and supply chain solutions through a single secure digital gateway.
DFCC Bank has launched the upgraded version of its digital corporate banking platform iConnect 2.0, designed to simplify financial operations for Sri Lankan businesses. The platform integrates cash management, trade finance, supply chain financing and API connectivity into a single secure digital gateway. It offers real-time transaction capabilities, automated reconciliation and island-wide collection solutions, helping businesses improve cash flow and streamline operations. iConnect 2.0 supports a wide range of payment methods including SEFTs, slips and RTGs, while facing complex trade transactions such as letters of credit and letters of guarantee digitally. The platform's API integration allows seamless connectivity for automated transactions and reporting, enhancing operational efficiency.
Brown & Company has launched the Urbania T2 diesel 16-seater premium mini coach in Sri Lanka in partnership with Force Motors India. Designed specifically for the tourism sector, the Urbania T2 offers superior comfort, safety and practicality with ample space for passengers and drivers. Positioned uniquely between the Toyota Hiace and larger minibuses, it features premium amenities and multiple emergency exits for enhanced safety. Brown & Company's head of heavy machinery, Milinda Navaratna, highlighted the coach's sustainability for long-distance travel with luxurious comfort. The product is supported by Brown's extensive after-sales service network and fully equipped central workshop in Rannala. People's Bank has partnered with the Ministry of Justice and Supreme Court to implement island-wide digital payment solution in Sri Lanka's court. The initiative aims to modernize the digital payment system, enhance convenience, transparency and efficiency across the legal sector.
People's Bank, in collaboration with the Ministry of Justice and Supreme Court, has launched a nationwide initiative to digitalize court payment systems across Sri Lanka. The project introduces secure cashless card payment facilities at courts, allowing litigants, attorneys and the public to make convenient digital payments. The launch was held at the Sri Lanka Judges Institute Auditorium with participation from top judicial and government officials. People's Bank is also conducting training programs for court staff to ensure smooth adoption and effective use of the new digital payment system. The initiative supports the government's vision of a digitally empowered nation and aims to improve efficiency, transparency and accountability within the judicial process.
Let's take a short commercial break. Global business updates coming on the other side. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Most Asian stocks were range-bound today, cooling after recent gains as mixed signals on U.S. interest rates and regulatory moves from President Donald Trump spurred heightened caution. Japan's Nikkei 225 futures rose 0.1% after the index surged back near record highs yesterday. Chinese stocks slid more than 1% as local technology stocks retreated from a stellar rally over the past month. China's mainland Shanghai Shenzhen CSI 300 fell 1%, while the Shanghai Composite Index shed 1.2%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index fell 1%. South Korea's Kospi rose 0.6%, taking some support from tech shares, while Singapore's Straits Times Index added 0.4%. Australia's ASX 200 rose 0.5% as local miners were boosted by stronger metal prices. India's Nifty 50 Index fell 0.3% at open. All three major U.S. stock indexes hit record closing highs for the third straight session, driven by gains in tech stocks. Nvidia rose after announcing a potential $100 billion investment in OpenAI.
All three major U.S. stock indexes registered record closing highs for a third straight session on Monday, with the Dow gaining more than 0.1%, the S&P 500 adding over 0.4%, and the Nasdaq climbing 0.7%. After last week's quarter percentage point rate cut by the Federal Reserve, some central bank officials on Monday expressed doubt over the need for further cuts. Potential inflationary pressures from President Trump's tariffs are just one reason investors should remain cautious in this bull market. Shares of Tylenol maker Kenvue were down about 7.5% at the close, ahead of remarks by Trump that Tylenol contributes to the development of autism during pregnancy, a claim many doctors dispute. But the stock gained roughly 6% in extended trading during Trump's speech. Other movers included Nvidia, which rose roughly 4% after the chip maker said it will invest up to $100 billion in OpenAI. And shares of Apple jumped more than 4% after Wedbush raised the stock's target price on strong demand signs for the iPhone 17.
That wraps up today's Nightly Business Report. We value your opinion. Share your thoughts and feedback with us through email at feedback.ad24english@derana.lk or via WhatsApp at 076-805-7933. We will see you again tomorrow with the latest updates in the business globe. Vinod Varnasuriya will meet you next with other Derana Sports Central. Until then, I'm Jenna Newman. Thank you for watching and have a great night.